In this video, we're going to go over a challenging word problem that asks you to just ask yourself, what could I do next? Not what do I do, right? You know, I'm big on that. We're going to lead ourselves to the answer here. Let's engage in some thinking right now. So it says an 8-inch by 8-inch picture is framed. The frame, and not framed for a crime, that's terrible. Anyway, terrible joke. The frame has a uniform width of X inches. Let's draw that out. So what does that mean? Let's say that you have an 8-inch by 8-inch picture, or 8-inch by 10-inch. So let's say that roughly, I don't know, something like that-ish. And then it's got a frame that goes all the way around like that. All right, let's do the dotted frame. It's got uniform width, though I can't draw things well, so, you know, X, that's what uniform means. So we have no idea what that value is for the width, but uniform means it's X inches all the way around, and we know this is 8 inches by 10 inches. Okay, so now we've drawn out our picture and we got the frame going around it. If the area of the picture and frame totals 168 square inches, what are the dimensions of the frame? So we're told that the area of basically the entire thing, if you were to add the area of the frame and the area of the picture, we would have the total area, which would be like the area of just this outer rectangle. That's what we're told, right? That would be the picture and the frame, the area of the outer rectangle. So that's what we need. We need the area of big rectangle, area of big, and we know that it is equal to 168 square inches. That's the main idea. So what's the area of the big? Well, that would be the length times the width, or the base times the height of the rectangle equals 168. So we need to figure out what the base and height are. Again, we're starting simple. It's not copy what I do and memorize it. It's I understand the area of a rectangle is base times height. And we got that from needing the area of the picture and the frame. So now we need an expression for the picture's base, rather the big rectangle's base and the big rectangle's height. So we need this distance here, as well as this distance here. Let's think about this. Well, if I'm walking this out like this, I go X, because this width is X, plus 8 plus X. Okay, well, let's write that out. X plus 8 plus X is my total distance, which would be 2X plus 8. So now the width is 2X plus 8. Let's use the same idea, but going vertically. You'd walk this down or up. So we're going X plus 10 plus another X. We'll write that out. So that would be X plus 10 plus X, which is 2X plus 10. Oh. So now we have our dimensions. They are 2X plus 8 and 2X plus 10. Those are our base and height. So we get 2X plus 8 times 2X plus 10. That would be the base times the height, and that gives us the area. It's challenging because of the number of steps, but every geometric part, every visual part is not bad. It's area of a rectangle. Okay, so now let's pause. We're done with the geometry. The question becomes, what do we do with this information? So again, it's not what do I do, it's what can I do with that? I can FOIL. I cannot set each of these equal to 0. Some students will do that here. That's a bad mistake. This is equal to 168. It's not like this is equal to 168 or that is. It has to be a product of this is 0 or this is 0. Because there's infinitely many combinations of numbers that can multiply to 168. But if we get everything equal to 0, there's only one combination of things that can get equal to 0, right? If one or both pieces equal 0. So what could I do? I can FOIL, I can distribute. Let's do it. So I'll do first, which is 4x squared. Outer, 2x times 10 is 20x. Inner, 8 times 2 is 16x. Last, 8 times 10 is 80, equal to 168. And if you're looking at this being like, yo, bro, I am not good right now. I don't know why I'm doing that accent. I'm not good right now on doing foiling. Go back to chapter 9 and review how to FOIL, how to distribute. Right? We've got to have that down anyway, so stop this video and go back to one of those. Same with factoring. Same with even doing the rectangle problems that come up first in chapter 9. So now what could I do? Well, I see that we have x terms and an x squared term, so I've got to get everything equal to 0. I can't isolate x squared. So I'm going to subtract 168 and combine like terms. I'm going to do all of that in one step, because you can handle that now. So I've got 4x squared, 20x and 16x is 36x. And you know what? I'll do it in 2 steps. That's a lot of steps to do just mentally. So now we have that equation. So now from here, I'm going to go up to this, just give us a little bit more room. I'm going to subtract 168 from both sides because again, I need to set everything equal to 0. So I get 4x squared, sweet, plus 36x, extra sweet. 80 minus 168 is negative 88. Ugh. Here's the point though. We are now at a position where we have an equation set equal to 0, and I know it's been a long road, but if you're on a long car trip, you don't focus on what happened behind you or on what's going to happen 2 hours later. You're focused on what you're doing right now, what you're seeing out the window now. We're focused on this. We got there, and you can rewind the video to see how we got here with little thoughts that built on each other. Now let's keep going with that idea so we don't get overwhelmed and think, I can't do this. Yes, you can. Let's rock. So I've got a greatest common factor of 4, so you bet I'm going to pull that out, and I'm going to factor if I can. So I've got 4 times x squared gives me 4x squared. 4 times 9x would get me 36x, and 4 times 22 would get me the 88 that I want. Ooh, let's see if that factors, because if it does, we're in luck. So I've got the 4 on the outside that's set equal to 0. And I'm looking here and thinking, well, what numbers, I know x and x go here, what numbers multiply to 22 that combine to give me 9? 11 and 2. I would need 11 to be positive and 2 to be negative so that when they multiply, they give me negative 22, and when they add, they give me positive 9. So now I set each part equal to 0. The 4 does not equal 0, we know that. Zero product property here, using our old skills of factoring to solve. And again, if you're having trouble on that, go back to a prior video in this lesson so you know how to solve it. We subtract 11 from both sides. X is negative 11, or x is 2, adding 2 to both sides. Okay, let's pause. We've got our x values. We're kind of in this algebra mode. Let's go back to the word problem and see what we're asked for. We want to know what the dimensions of the frame are. Well, we know they're 2x plus 8 and 2x plus 10. So we needed an x value, which we have 2 of. One of those will not work. The negative 11 doesn't work, because if I plug that in here, well, into the frame, I'd have a frame that is negative in width. It's like a black hole frame that sucks in the picture. That's kind of strange. So as far as the real world goes, negative number does not work here. So our only answer for what x is 2. So what do I do with that? Well, I want to know what the dimensions are. I have 2x plus 8 and 2x plus 10. So I plug 2 into that and I'll get my answers. So 2 times 2 plus 8, right? I basically have a 2 here and a 2 there now. That's going to be equal to 4 plus 8 is 12, so that's one dimension. And then I'm going to do 2 times 2 plus 10. Which is going to be 14, 4 plus 10. Makes sense. We found that the width here, 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 and here is 2. So it would be 2 plus 10 is 12 plus 2 is 14. 2 plus 8 is 10 plus 2 is 12. Yeah, it's a lengthy problem. And yeah, it's gross. If you memorize how to do this problem, good on you, I guess, if you can memorize it. But this problem is all about starting simple and continuing to ask yourselves, what can I do with this? Oh, I could FOIL it. What could I do with this? Oh, I could set it equal to 0. Oh, I could factor it. Oh, I got an x value. So it takes a while to do all those things. One question though, what can I do? And making sure you understand your previous algebra so that you can answer that question each time. See you next time. That was a ripping problem.